Hey everyone, I'm Caroline Rena from the Ride of My Life podcast, and this is an interesting moment, and I'm doing it right in the middle of working through something because I just felt like it's important to get out there. So when I have a moment of working into something new and things start not going right, and what happens is, what's happening now is I'm working on a project that I thought was going to be supported, but I also had a feeling that there was something shifting. So what I'm noticing is that within the space of the diving deep, there's also a space of letting go and releasing, and it's all energy. And it's really kind of hard to explain because it's like the shifts that happen in the moment sometimes feel like awful. And what's been going on has been this like melancholy feeling. And for those of you who are kind of in the experiment of human design, like I've been doing that for a little over a year now. It's something where it falls into the category of these gates of melancholy gates, and I just learned about that today. But if you don't know about human design, it works outside of human design too. It's the same thing. It's like we have in human design, there's this individual circuit that my design is one, part of that is an individual circuit. So within the individual circuit, what I'm understanding is these gates of melancholy, and it turns out that I happen to have 9 of them, and I'm like, yeah. So now I'm going to look into that a little bit more, but what the challenge is recognizing that these are not there to hurt us, that when things come up and they don't work out for us, it's not there to hurt us, it is to help us release what no longer serves us and to get deeper into the truth of who we are. And it doesn't feel good. I don't feel great right now, but that's okay. I'm also recognizing that, these things are happening for me, and I'm tearing up. It's like digging deep. I was talking about getting into the darkness inside and digging deep into what that is, and it's what it is who we are, and who we are is bigger than what we perceive ourselves to be, or whatever we've been told, or what we think we are, or what we were taught, or any of that kind of thing. So what I want to share, really, I'm hoping this is pretty quick, but I don't know, because I'm working through it myself, and I think it's important that people can see that this is something that is not an easy thing to do, but I know on the other side that there's a reason for this. And it wouldn't be, how is it that people know that these things are going to happen if they weren't meant to happen this way? And it's like this process, it's like this following this wave of emotions or whatever. But anyway, these gates of melancholy in this individual circuit under human design, or just walking through just the in-between stage. It's like you're walking away from what is no longer working in your life, and you're walking towards something, but you're not quite there yet, and you're kind of in the middle. That's what this is. So there are, within life, there are ups and downs. Within this melancholy thing, there are ups and downs in the individual circuit within human design. And I'm only sharing it in this human design space right now because this is what I'm experimenting, part of what I'm experimenting with, and I think it's really cool how this works. And so anyway, so when you're in an up place, we're full of creativity, and there's change happening and we're bringing forth something original and new, and there's a sense of, yeah, great, I know what's going on. And then when it's time to release what's not serving us anymore, the energies, the emotions, the things that are stuck inside of us, they're no longer needed. We are actually conduits. We emotions are supposed to flow through us, and when we have stuck emotions from past experiences or trauma, they get stuck. And so when they get stuck, the new emotion comes in, finds the old one, and it and that's where the whole nervous system thing kicks in, and it doesn't feel good. So the downs are when that starts to happen. And I've been noticing from the traumas that I've had in my life, I have been dysregulated quite often for most of my life, except more recently, where I'm starting to see that as a stressor comes up, my nervous system, I'm watching, and it's like, it's not freaking out anymore. It's not like, when I'm walking around going, oh my God, what's going on or whatever. It's not doing that right now. And I'm still trying to get a grasp on this because I'm not used to that. I'm used to being able to watch it and say, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing happening. There's no tiger chasing me in the moment. Nothing like this. And so, in these down times, there's this melancholy, there's an emptiness, there's not knowing. I read somewhere where it's called the fallow time. It's kind of this in-between stage. And what's happening, it's doing away with whatever has been. Like I said, it's like kind of stepping away from all of that stuff in the past. And then it's preparing. I'm in this space right now where something new is emerging, but I don't know what that is yet. And that's not easy, especially when, especially if we've been traumatized and we're like, we want something to change, and then we don't because we feel safe where we are. And it's like this push me, pull you thing. It's like this inside of us, and it's so strong and it's so powerful and it feels so hard, and it's like, I don't know what that is yet, but I wanted to just come in and share that going into like the human design piece, this individual process is also finding the truth. And it's just time to let go of what's past and to see what's true now. And that's where I'm at. I'm in this middle space looking at what's true now. Like there were my desire was to have a reconnection with my life when I go back to Florida in this traveling back down there and preparing for this course that my friend is wanting to put out down there in Florida. And it doesn't seem like the timing is right. I don't know. And that really hit me because I was really trying hard to get this thing to work. This is normal. Again, for human design people, this is a generator behavior where you make things happen. And that's, hopefully I said that right, because I'm still kind of a babe in the woods here, but you make things happen, and that's not how I work. I'm actually a projector, and that's not what a self-projected projector, which means that I just be who I am based off of my role model design, and just wait for an invitation when people recognize me. And that's not the easiest space to be when you've been raised to work like someone, like I was in the Army for 8 years, and everything I did was like boo, 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 everything, but nothing ever worked even during that time period for me. So it's like this is an interesting space to be in. I usually call it a void. I don't know if that's exactly a good description of it, but it made me feel like there's an ending, there's a beginning, and I'm not quite in the beginning. And I'll keep repeating that because it doesn't feel good when we're not like getting into that getting into the beginning piece yet, because it's like, what's happening? But things have to line up. The universe lines people and lines things up for us. And that's where learning patience comes in, which is something that is one of my, lovely teachings in this lifetime, whatever that means. But what I want to say about this moment is from what I read, this information I found, this moment is a birthing ground for inspiration. It's creativity. It's to find the uniqueness of, let me see, I hope I have the place where I read it. I can't, it's on my phone, so maybe I'll type it in when I put it up on Facebook, but because I can't remember who to quote on this one, but it's just powerful. It's like, it's the uniqueness of our engagement in the moment to arise. And when the time is right, and this creativity in us can express itself, then we become empowered in our individuality, and then naturally it empowers people around us to live beyond what is normal, expected, controllable, logical, and historical. And when I read that, I was like, wait. So what that's saying to me is that, again, what we've learned in our past, what we learned as children, is it's stuff that keeps us in this same space. But if we're not that person, then we buck up against it inside of us, and that's what the healing is. That's what the darkness is. That's what the underworld is. From another person I watch, these are all these things that are helping us, and Lord knows it doesn't feel good, but it's helping us to break free. And that's, for me, freedom's important. And I just wanted to share that this is something that's just, we don't recognize this. We don't understand it sometimes because it doesn't fit in our normal way of thinking. So, or what we've learned, or our perceptions, or whatever that is. So my offer advice here, I don't do advice, this is a high suggestion, is just to be open in your heart, in your in your thinking. Don't be rigid, be open in your heart, and just experiment and just see what happens, because doing the work is not as, well, let me just say, it can be painful. However, there is the other side of it, and the other side of it is freedom. And that's what I'm finding. But having this happening in this moment, and trying to understand why it's happening, and going into my analytical mind and not understanding why all these things are quote unquote falling apart. Well, here's the kicker. Things fall apart so they can come back together again. And that's just nature, and it rebuilds itself. And just think about how after a hurricane and everything gets knocked over, and the appearance is that the trees are, died or whatever because they got knocked over, then you've got these new branches that start coming back from the stump, and it's like, that's what happens in life. It just is, that's what happens. And so I just wanted to share with you this little piece of stuff that's coming up from tonight. Hi, Tsushimoto. And he would understand because we've been connecting on this. He's actually what I've been sharing with everyone on this these classes that I'm helping him try to get into South Florida, or somewhere in Florida at this point. I guess it doesn't matter where. I think Florida would probably be a good spot because that's where I need to end up. But what's happening is that, talking about this, and it's kind of cool that he's on here, because I feel like this is just an opportunity for us. I know that the universe works in divine timing, and it there's some things that I need to finish, or not finish, but continue working and healing with. And my energy is part of this process, and I think that it's important that I walk through this piece too. And there's just so many things that are happening in that in-between space, in that fallow time, getting ready to step into whatever it is that's about to come up. That's going to be, I feel it's going to be helpful for people. This is all about love. This is all about resonance. This is all about heart. Everything here is about heart. The head messes with us. It's not something that we need it for information and things like that to do some of the things that we want to do in the world, but the heart is what guides us. It's our kind of like our GPS system. But anyway, I want to thank you for watching, and hope that you kind of got something from this. And if you have any questions or anything like that, you can reach me. You can reach out through CarolineRena.com, my website, and or through Facebook or Instagram. So I think that's about it. I think I'm going to go sit with this now and see where it leads me. So thank you so much for being here, and I love you guys. And peace. There's the Band-Aid. Peace. All right. Bye.